This right here is the Nitro Deck from Cracked, and it works perfectly with the Nintendo Switch or the Nintendo Switch OLED. Basically, this takes everything from the Switch Lite that's awesome and adds it to a Switch. You don't have to have Joy-Cons that can slide off. It even has extra buttons on the back, and this is very, very comparable to the Valve Steam Deck or other portable handhelds like this. So we're gonna go ahead and take this out of the box, go through it, see what it's got, and also compare it to those other systems. Once we go ahead and take the cover off, you're left with the nice little Cracked logo, and once you open it up, you see a card that says welcome to the Cracked family, as well as a case and another strap for the system. Once we go ahead and open the case, the first thing we see is the Nitro Deck with a scan and watch for the video, as well as the user guide. Also in the case at the top, you've got extra joystick covers, you've got a screen cleaner, and an extra cord, which is actually braided, which is pretty awesome. And overall, this thing looks absolutely amazing. It's got all the normal buttons you would expect to see, the X, Y, A, B, the joysticks. The Cracked logo is actually the home button, plus and minus. You've got a D-pad here, and you've got the capture button down below, as well as the L and R button and the ZL and the ZR button. These all feel really nice. And then we flip it over to the back here. We've got 4 extra buttons that are programmable. We've got the kickstand, which is right in the middle of the case itself. And we also have the release button for the Switch out of the Nitro Deck. And on the back, we also have the input and output USB-Cs. The input is for charging, and the output is for other wired controllers. And overall, this feels really nice and feels like it's going to be great in our hands. So let's go ahead and slide the Switch on and see how this looks. And the first thing I notice is it is very easy to slide it in, and then you just push the release button and slide it right out. It's perfect for that. And then we are going to go ahead and get this turned on, and just right away, you have to make sure you turn on the Pro Controller wired connection in the settings. So if you don't have that turned on already, you will have to do that. But once you do, everything is going to work nicely. And honestly, I've been playing this a bunch. I played the F-Zero 99 game over the weekend, as well as Pikmin 4. And overall, I think this is really nice. It feels comfortable. Everything I like about it is very good. The Hall effect joysticks are very great. They feel amazing. Way better than the Joy-Con joysticks. The D-pad, it is a D-pad which you don't have with the Joy-Cons unless you have like a third party or a custom shell. But it's nothing fancy. It's a pretty basic D-pad there. The A, B, X, Y buttons also feel pretty good. They feel probably a little bit like a third-party button, but not really that noticeable once you're actually in the game. And then you've got the L and R and the ZL and the ZR button. Those are much more comfortable than the Switch Joy-Cons because they are like 3 or 4 times the size of those. They feel nice and they're easy. And the buttons on the back, the S1 through S4, feel really nice because that is actually where your hands tend to rest. So overall, I think this is a pretty awesome little console addition. Now, I will say the way that this is configured is very much like the Switch Joy-Cons. So if you're playing a game that needs you to use both joysticks like Pikmin 4, it is a little weird feeling because you do have to move your thumb down there, but that's normal. You would feel the same place with the Switch. So with those Joy-Cons, it's very similar layout. So there's not really any complaints there. But I will say this kickstand is nice. It's right in the middle instead of being on the side like the original Switch. And it's a lot more sturdy, so it's definitely got to keep your Switch from falling over. One reason I love playing with my Switch Lite is because it's so slim. I don't have to worry about Joy-Cons being there or anything like this. Everything is there together. I also have a clear case on this thing that makes it a little bit more comfortable in my hands. So I feel like this is nice and perfectly comfortable for me. However, I feel like these weigh very, very similar. Obviously, the Nitro Deck on the Switch is bigger, as you can see, but I feel like it's pretty portable there. You put it in the case, you walk around with it, and you're great. I think this is a great way to use this. I will probably be keeping at least one of my Switch OLEDs in this at all times because I definitely think this is the way to go. You don't have to worry about your Joy-Cons. Occasionally, my Joy-Cons will get loose and they'll rattle a little bit, which I think is absolutely annoying. And you don't have to worry about this. As long as your Switch is in place and locked in, it's not going anywhere. You can try to get it out, but until you release it, it's not gonna let it go. So I think it is very nice that way. As well as this thing feels very nice. As I said, this does feel really light, which is not a bad thing. This, you would think, is much heavier, but honestly, it feels like Joy-Cons with a little bit added plastic. Obviously, it's got to be there, but I think this is a nice addition to your Switch OLED because you just slide it in and you can play it that way and you don't have any problems with it. It's definitely going to be better with those Hall effect joysticks. It's not going to drift, at least hopefully it won't drift. Those apparently can drift, but are a lot less likely to, so I'm definitely glad those are in this. And honestly, I don't know if I'll ever use this kickstand because there's kind of no reason for me to because, well, it's meant to be in handheld mode, but I see why they put it there. The Switch had it, so you might as well add it onto it. It probably didn't cost them much to have the parts or design or anything like that. And I think this is totally awesome. So if you are out there looking for an accessory for your Switch, I think the Nitro Deck is an awesome addition to it because it makes it feel more like one system, more like the Switch Lite in terms of everything's there. It's not anything that's gonna rattle around or possibly slide off because some Joy-Cons can do that. And it's got the added benefits of those back buttons, which is totally awesome. So if you are looking to get a new something, a new accessory for your Switch, I suggest you looked into the Nitro Deck. Now, this one is the GameCube themed one. Obviously, it's purple with the stick being yellow and gray and the buttons being green, red, and gray. But overall, I think this one on their website goes for $89. The base model is $79, I believe. And I think they also have like a translucent one that's also either $89 or $99. I can't remember. But if you're trying to get something for your Switch OLED, I think you should definitely check this out. It's definitely awesome and is well worth your time and money. So I'm going to get out of here and go play some more Pikmin 4. So check that video out if you haven't already. But I am very excited about this thing. When I heard about it, I knew I had to have it. And honestly, they sent me this review copy and I've been absolutely loving it. So I'm going to get back to playing it. So check that video out if you haven't already.